Good Monday morning, Algebra 2. We are reviewing again. We're just going to continue on with the review. What I'm going over now are this week is going to be some of the basics that are going to help you with the foundations of the problems on your exam. A lot of people like to brush over the basics. I'm going to use this fact that I have this extra time now to go over stuff with you. So I want to point out these four properties. These are the main algebraic properties. The first one is the commutative. Commutative just means they can move around. So it's like when I tell you, let's commute to your next class, you can move to your next class. I don't use those words, but we can pretend I do for this example. Okay, the associative property is where I can associate different things as long as it's all doing the same. So see how it's plus, 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 plus. Since they are identical, I can do A plus B first, or I can do B plus C first. This is like how some days you guys may want to sit at the back table with one of your friends versus the front table with one of your other friends, okay? You can associate with different people because in the end, you all combine to equal the same thing. The distributive property states that if I have something in front of the parentheses, I can distribute it to both things inside of it. That just simply means I can do A times B plus A times C. A times B plus A times C, okay? Identity states that we've got anything plus 0 is going to be the number, and anything times 1 is going to be the number. Those are the identity numbers. So 0 for addition, 1 for multiplication. And the inverse just simply says if I do the opposite, so if I am adding but I subtract it, or if I add the negative of it, I'm going to get 0, or if I multiply the reciprocal of it, not the divided. If I multiply the reciprocal of it, I'm also going to get 1. So in the inverse property, since I can't divide anything by 0, I'm going to end up just dividing it by itself essentially to get 1. So anything divided by itself is 1. That's what the inverse property is stating. Now, addition and subtraction, I've got just addition and subtraction of like terms. We are not getting into anything too deep here, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little hint. See how this is a plus in front of this parentheses? That means I don't even need the parentheses. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to group my like terms. And you guys have seen me do this multiple times. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this. So I've got negative 3x squared plus 8x squared, and then I've got negative 6x, and I've got a positive 7x, I've got a positive 8, and a negative 14. So negative 3 plus 8 gives me 5x squared, negative 6 plus 7 gives me x, and 8 minus 14 gives me a negative 6. Done. Now let's see, what do we do here with a negative in front of it? So I'm going to rewrite the first half of this. And then what I'm going to do is distribute this negative to each term in here. So I'm going to make this from a positive x squared to a negative 3x squared. This is a positive 7x. It's going to change to a negative 7x. This is a negative 14, and it's going to change to a positive 14. And then all I'm going to do is group like I did in my first problem. Okay, so I've got x squared minus 3x squared plus x minus 7x minus 5 plus 14. This is going to be negative 2x squared minus x plus 9. And then the last thing that I want to review is multiplication of polynomials. So here I have a binomial times a binomial. So we are going to FOIL that. So first, outer, inner, last. So our first two terms are 3x and 2x, which is going to give me 6x squared. My outer two terms are 3x and y, which just gives me 3xy. Our inner two terms are 4y and 2x, which is going to give me 8xy. And our last two terms are 4y and y, which is going to give me 4y squared. So when I write this out, I can write 6x squared. I can combine these, which is 8, 9, 10, 11. So plus 11xy, and then plus 4y squared. Okay, and then this leaves us to my final problem for us. This is something that is not going to be able to be FOILed because you can see I have a trinomial here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute each of these terms to the trinomial. So I'm going to do 2x times x squared minus 2x times 6x minus 2x times 2. And then I'm going to do plus 3 times x squared minus 3 times 6x minus 3 times 2. That gives me 2x cubed minus 12x minus 12x squared minus 4x plus 3x squared minus 18x minus 6. So here you can see now we're going to be looking for like terms. So I have a like term here and I have a like term here. So my 2x cubed doesn't have one, so I'm just going to put 2x cubed. Negative 12 plus negative 4 is negative 16x squared. Negative 3 plus, it's negative 12 plus negative 3, which is negative 15x squared. And then negative 4 plus negative 18, which gives me negative 22x, and then my negative 6. Okay, and there you have it. Just a quick little review. Don't forget these properties up at the top. I will see you tomorrow.